This is a tutorial video on creating subcontracts and purchase orders in CMiC. And so the process is fairly similar for both subcontracts and purchase orders. And so to start off, you're going to go to this side toolbar and hit Budget and Cost Management. And then from there, you're going to hit Subcontract. And you'll hit that for both purchase orders and subcontracts. And so you'll see here a list of all previous purchase orders and subcontracts. And if you look at the contract number, you can see that it has the job number and then it has 0.01, 0.02, 0.03, and so forth. And this matches your folder structure as well. So if I take a look at my folders and I just go into this job, you can see that we have 1.0, it skips 2, and then goes to 3. And then 4. And so 4 is the section that will have our subcontracts and purchase orders. And so you see 4.01 is Bishop Mays. And you can see here that it's Bishop Mays as well. And so for this example, we are going to add 4.35. And this is going to be a subcontract. And this folder has already been created, but we're going to go ahead and just use it and start from scratch. So instead of copying and paste this, we're going to go ahead and just create a whole new folder for the sake of the example. So I'm going to go ahead and right click and then hit new folder. And then I'm going to type in 4.35. And this is going to be Zetron and Kimball Communications FSA system. And so at this point, we're going to go ahead and go back into CMiC. And if you scroll down, you can see that Fire Station Alert 0.35 has already been created and it's pending. And so that correlates with the folder that we just created here, so 4.35. And we're just going to go ahead and recreate this and double back and delete it. So I'm going to hit Add Subcontract. From there, you're going to go into Vendor and select a vendor. And here we would navigate to Kimball Communications because that's our vendor for this specific subcontract. And now, just a note, if your vendor is not listed in this list, you would need to go ahead and go to the top, close out of this, and then go into the left-hand toolbar and hit Partners and add your vendor. But you can see that Kimball Communications is here, so I'm going to go ahead and select them. And then once I do that, when I go over to Contact, you can see that CMiC recognizes that Brian Kimball would be our contact for this. And so you need to make sure that this contact is correct. This is who you want to send the subcontract to, and they're going to sign off on. And so again, if this contact was not correct, you would have to go back into Partners and add the correct contact. But we're going to go ahead and just select Brian, and you can see that it enters his email, and then it has today's date as the date created, and we're going to send it out today, and so that's correct. You just need to make sure that that's correct. And then in description, we're going to go ahead and just write Fire Station Alert System. So the next thing that you're going to do is select contract type. So if this was a purchase order, you would hit purchase order, but we're going to hit subcontract. And then here in the accounting section, this is where you would refer to your agreement for the retainage and term code, but for now we're just going to leave it as the default. And then next you're going to start entering in information and schedule of values, and so you're going to hit the plus button, and then for task code we're just going to hit 01. And then for the task name, for this you're going to make sure that you are consistent and using the correct form that we use in CMiC and in our folders. And so for this, you're going to do the job number. And then just like we have our folder structure, GSP ARFF-Fire Station Alert. And then for the long description, we're going to have the same title as we did above, Fire Station Alert. And then for this, you're going to go ahead and hit the magnifying glass. And this gives you all of our different units. And we're going to scroll down and select lump sum for this subcontract. And you're going to tab over. You don't really need to fill out unit or rate. But then for the amount, this specific subcontract is $111,180. And then the job number is pretty self-explanatory, and then we're going to select the phase. And the phase for this is electronic safety and security. And so we're going to go ahead and just select that. And that went ahead and filled in the category as well. So we're going to tab through all of this. And then that is all you need to do. And so from there, you are going to scroll down and go to scope of work. And so this is one section that does differ for purchase orders and subcontracts. So for purchase orders, you would just go ahead and fill out this section with everything that you're expecting the company to do and provide. But for subcontracts, you're going to actually want to write in refer to the scope document, because you would max out the characters here in describing the scope of work. So it's just better that you attach the scope file document and just say here, refer to the document. So we're going to go ahead and say refer to attached scope of work. And then from there, you don't really need to fill in any of this information if you don't want to. It's just kind of extra. And so for the sake of this example, we're just going to leave it. And then you are all done. And so you're going to go to the top and hit save. So once we've saved this, the next thing that we're going to need to do is go ahead and make the subcontract with the cover sheet and everything. And so in order to do that, you're just going to go up to the top and hit print. And then make sure that this is the correct format. So cover sheet with master and DocuSign, subcontract, then you're going to hit print and then run report. Okay. And then that's going to bring up a Word document. And you're going to go ahead and hit enable editing at the top. And you can see that subcontract date does not automatically pre-populate. And so we're going to go ahead and enter in the correct date here, which is July 1st, 2020. You want to check to make sure that the amount is correct. You wouldn't want to send them a subcontract cover sheet with the wrong amount. Make sure that the address is correct as well. It has the company name, the project, the correct person, etc. And then as you scroll down, you're going to see all of our terms and conditions that CMiC already pre-populates with all the necessary information. So you can see this is just all part of our contract and terms and conditions. And so one thing to note is that in this section, there would maybe be some markups that the company might have. So just note that they might send it back to you in PDF form, and then you would need to talk with the project manager or partner just to see if those markups were allowed. Just to note that that could happen. But from here, we're going to go ahead and scroll up to this attachment section. And so here, this is where you have all of your attachments listed, and this can change. These attachments can change according to the project that you're working on. And so for this specific project, we are going to go ahead and include a project schedule. So I'm going to mark this with an X here. And then in addition, for attachment number 9, we are going to have an attachment number 9, and that's going to be contract document log. And then we're going to add another line as well. And this is going to be attachment 10. And as we previously noted, this is going to be our scope of work document. So from there, you've entered everything that's necessary. So you're going to just go ahead and scroll up to the top and hit save. And we're going to find that file, that project folder that we've been working in. So we're going to go into jobs. And then we're working in 19028. And then at this point, we're going to scroll to the folder that we were working on previously. And then just as a tip, if you would like to grab a previous file name, that's a shortcut. So we're going to go actually into 4.34 and change this to PDF. And we're just going to go ahead and grab this file name and then go back to that file that folder that we were working in, so 4.35. And then since we copied this file name, we can just go ahead and manipulate it to whatever we want it to say, which is 4.35. Kimball Communications subcontract file copy. And so there you can save it. And you can see that it went ahead and pulled up a PDF of that file. And so we're going to go into the thumbnail view here. And at this point, you're going to need to add the necessary attachments. And even though we have scope of work listed as our 10th attachment, it's usually a good idea to include it right after the first page, just so that the subcontractor doesn't have to scroll and scroll and scroll to find the scope of work. And so in order to do that, we're going to go into that folder that we already have all the information in, because we already have done this subcontract. So we're going to open up that folder, and we're going to find that scope of work document, so attachment 10, and just drag and drop it to where we want it to go in the document. And then from there, we're going to add subcontract attachments to the very bottom, and that's all the attachments that we previously referred to in the terms and conditions. So we can just go ahead and scroll through those. So the first one is going to be, this is job site rules and regulations. And then the next one is going to be pay app. And then the next one, you're going to have final release of lien. And then this is the certificate of insurance. And just a note on this, you need to make sure that when the subcontractor does return this, it has this description of operations verbatim. So just be watching out for that. And then also it has these additional pages as well. And then it has the document log, project schedule, etc. And so once we've added all the attachments, since we have been building on this initial file, you can just go up to the top and hit save. And if you want to just make sure that that's the correct file structure, you can go into the job folder, and then you can see that this folder is updating on Dropbox. It just updated, and this file in 4.35 has all that information. And so from there, we need to upload it to CMiC. So we're going to go back in. So in CMiC, you're going to go up to the top and hit attachments, and then hit upload multiple. And from here, you're going to go ahead and open up your file and go to that file that you were just working on. And you're just going to drag and drop that into CMiC. And again, that will have a yellow bar until it's successfully uploaded, and then it will turn green. And once it does that, you can go ahead and hit upload and then proceed. And so you can see that attachment has just been added here. And at this point, CMiC would have all the information necessary to send this out to the subcontractor to e-sign. And so from there, you would just go up to the top and hit e-sign documents. And then at this point, you would add all the necessary contacts. And so I'm going to hit the plus button. You can see that it already includes Brian Kimball as signer 1. And you would always want to have the subcontractor contact as signer 1 and the Maven contact as signer 2. And so we're going to go ahead and enter the project manager, which is Matt, and he's going to be signer 2. And then we're going to also CC all the necessary people as well. And so the first person that we're going to CC is Stacy. And then you'd CC the assistant project manager as well. So we're going to go ahead and put Evan. And then you can see below, you need to make sure to check that attachment to make sure that it is included. And then if you scroll down, everything is pretty self-explanatory. You can enter a different subject or different message, but it should be good to just leave it. And then you can set reminders, recipient privileges, and an expiration as well if you would like. And then just check over everything. You can see I accidentally didn't select signer 2, so I'm going to select Matt as signer 2, and then you would from there just send for e-signing. And so that's really all you need to know when it comes to subcontracts and purchase orders in CMiC. Thanks.